call my name in a crowd and I'll know where to go. And I will come running like this was Marco Polo, staring at the man in a glass staring right back at me. Then I'll puff up smoke, and if I want to, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, I'll stand to where you can see me clearly, and I'll speak to where you can hear me clearly. 'Cause all my friends, you know what's up. If the glass is half empty, it's better to fill up the cup. Yeah, when I feel the breeze, then it's easy to see me please upon a mountain of reasons to smile and cure this disease. And I can wait, but to wait's on to waste time. 'Cause if it's fate, then it's fate. To be fake's only to waste your time. Time, all my time. Still all my friends, you know what's up. If the glass is half empty, it's better to fill up the cup. Then we can wave at our problems, salute, we can bid them farewell. 'Cause they've burned and we've learned that it's time to rid of this spell, And you can wait, but I must say you're wasting your time. 'Cause if it's fate, then it's fate. To be fake's only to waste your time. Time, all my time. Yesterday's tomorrow today. Let's just live yesterday's tomorrow. To all my friends, you know what's up. If the glass is half empty, it's better to fill up the cup. That was fun.
Yeah.
Looking all right. Thank you.
Ow!
Muchas gracias. We are Freelow.
Yeah.
My name is Jason Freelow, and this is Freddie Garcia. We come from New Orleans, just at different times, but we played in New Orleans together, so it's an honor to be over here playing in Florida with him.
Yeah.
This next song is called Trials and Tribulations. Hey, the sunshine, seen the rain. I thought I'd never see this guy the same, but when we woke up and saw that sun, I knew a new day has begun. I've gone through my trials and tribulations. But don't watch the time, don't waste your time, and I want mine. Mind over matter. But if you don't mind, it don't matter, don't watch the time, it's not on your wrist, it's on your mind over matter. But if you don't mind, it don't matter, don't watch the time, it's not on your wrist, it's on your it's on your mind. Hey, the sunshine, see the rain. I never thought I'd see the sky the same, but when we woke up and saw that sun, I knew a new day, well, it has begun. I've gone through my trials and tribulations. Don't watch the time, don't waste your time, and I want mine. Mind over matter. But if you don't mind, it don't matter, don't watch the time, it's not on your wrist, it's on your mind over matter. But if you don't mind, it don't matter, don't watch the time, it's not on your wrist, it's on your when it's on your mind, your mind, your mind, your mind. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. It don't matter, no. Whoa, yeah, yeah. It don't matter, no. Mind over matter. But if you don't mind, you don't mind. Don't watch the time, it's not on your wrist. 'Cause mind over matter. But if you don't mind, it don't matter, don't watch the time, it's not on your wrist, it's on your mind. Noise. Oof. Gracias. Woo! Thank you.
Killing it.
Oh, thanks.
Everybody's enjoying it.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm just bending over to sing it.
Take time to, if you have your phone on you, to share it to your page if you have it. If you
yeah.
want to take a few minutes to do that, just real quick.
Oh yeah, you can
right
just
after the song.
Yeah, after the
So
song, yeah.
that people can come in and you can do a little closing set.
Very cool. Thank you.
Listen to us talk and everything.
I appreciate you having
Doing
us.
this for my chat and everything, so.
Nice. Well, we're Freelow. I just changed the website page, but it's now called Who is Freelow? Freelow. You can find us on Facebook Music. It's the Freelow Music is where you can find us. These days, I know they're strange, but they won't change if we all just stay the same. Believe me, 'cause I know it seems as though we're floating even further down the stream. days I won't let them get the best of me. And it takes a lot just to get it back. It takes a whole lot to get a little back. It takes a lot, but at least you get it back. At least you get it back in the end. Tired of what you do, tired of what you say. Let's close our eyes and wake up to another day. Well, you're tired of me too, tired of what I say. So let's close our eyes and wake up. But these days, yes, I know they're strange, but they won't change if we all just stay the same. Believe me, 'cause I know that it seems as though we're floating even further down the street. These days, I won't let them get the best of you or me. It takes a lot just to get it back. It takes a whole lot to get a little back. It takes a lot, but at least you get it back. Oh, at least you get it back in the end. Tired of what you do, tired of what you say. Let's close our eyes and wake up to another day. Were you tired of me too? Tired of what I say? Let's close our eyes and wake up. I'm tired of what you do, I'm tired of what you say. So let's close our eyes and wake up to another day. 'Cause I'm tired of me too, I'm tired of what I say. So let's close our eyes and wake up. Thank you. That song's called These Days.
Freelow!
Thank you so much.
Ow!
Thank you.
Wow. That was powerful, boys.
Thank you so much.
Oh.
We have one more we'll do. So we have time for it?
Yeah, I'll give you another couple of minutes.
Okay.
I'll give you one more song.
We go in that mud.
You
You
good?
want to do mud or?
Do one more.
All right, cool.
And then we get into the meat of the conversation, chat. By the way.
Yeah,
I'm right
give
here.
it up, give it up.
I'm switching cameras. I got, I'm doing all this stuff in the background.
Go this way, now just turn around. How much does this feather weigh? Tell me the amount in pounds. Cry to sleep while you're wide awake. The feather makes a sound whenever it hits the ground. So crying over dirt makes mud. Cut so deep, but he won't draw blood. Thought he was something, but he wasn't what he was. So crying over dirt makes mud. It's alright, it's okay. Oh. Close your eyes, you've gotta see all this. Do you realize you only hit what you wanna miss? And you will miss sometimes with straight. These lines might just need a twist. The path never stops, just turn when you hit the end. So crying over dirt makes mud. Cut so deep, but it won't draw blood. Thought it was something, but he wasn't what he was. So crying over dirt makes mud. Crying over dirt makes mud. Cut so deep, but it won't draw blood. Thought it was something, but it wasn't what he was. So crying over dirt makes mud. Crying over dirt makes mud. It's alright, it's okay. For that. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's Freddie Garcia on the trumpet, everybody. My name is Jason Freelow. Thank you. Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you guys so
Contextually
much for
challenged.
coming. Feel free to stick around if you want to play one more at the end.
Yeah.
Sure.
And hang out for the show, Jason. So if you want to talk, I thought we had talked about that. I didn't know if you had anything to do, but
We'll see. We'll see, because we're gonna go talk and have a little smoky smoke, and then we'll see where that goes.
yeah, absolutely. Chat, we are going to put a picture up for a second. Where am I? Right here. Hi, chat. We're gonna put a picture up real quick. We're gonna change scenes out. 5 minutes, and we'll be right back with you.
Yeah. Cheers.
Thank you, Freelow.
Freedom.
Pleasure.
Hello. Freelow, man, that was pretty cool. What a little performance we had in there.
Yeah.
Sorry for our tardiness, but we gotta appreciate it when we have a special guest in. So nice to see you guys again. James is over there getting us all tightened up. Appreciate you, Girldad. But let's dive right on in. Those of you that read the description in the description. Let's get overly involved with our words. Kind of see what our topic was for the day. So there's a lot of different layers to when we talk about misrepresentation and what that actually means. So one of those layers, we kind of wanted to throw it over to Chris. He had something on his mind from the previous week that he wanted to get into, and that's kind of going to deliver us into the rest of our conversation. So I'll throw it over to you, Chief.
So let's talk about horse dewormer. I don't know if anybody has heard anything.
Is that a thing?
This.
Is that a topic? Horse dewormer? Is that a thing?
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
It's a topic now.
It's a thing now?
Yeah, we're going to make it a thing.
It's actually been a thing. So we got to let Chris rant. Sorry. Hi, I'm Girldad. Everybody, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm back. So we're getting on to the rest of the show. Just want to introduce myself, say hello. It is on to Chris. I'm going to go and fill up, and I'm going to let these two take it away for a minute. I've been stuck in here this whole time.
He's playing producer. He's doing his technical duties, so we appreciate you, brother, getting us all hooked back up. Again, thanks to Freelow. I know that was a lot on the fly, but we made it happen. So
yeah, it's cool.
Hell yeah, man.
It sounded good out there, too.
It was awesome, dude.
Yeah, so horse dewormer, otherwise known as ivermectin. So for those who haven't heard about this, this is a medication that is widely used throughout the world as anti-parasitic, particularly in parts of the world where there's a disease called river blindness. So this medication has been around for quite a while. Thank you. I was wondering about the chat here.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
So anyways, the idea here is there's been some in vitro studies that have shown some evidence, and maybe I'm underselling it or overselling it here, but either way, some evidence that it is effective both as a prophylactic as well as a treatment, possibly, for COVID-19. Now, I'm sure all of you have seen as well in the media how hard they're pushing vaccines, and that could very well be an effective and safe, or very effective, very safe treatment for, or preventative measure anyways, for COVID-19. But it just seems to me that the media, which is fucking disgusting, by the way,
tell us how you feel,
in
buddy.
basically all forms, except for the forms that manifest in smaller places like YouTube podcasts and stuff like that, some of the offshoot, but like mainstream media, yeah. Let me read you a couple of headlines just to give you an idea, right? So Joe Rogan, I'm sure that's a name pretty much everybody's familiar with. This is from Vice News, quality source. Joe Rogan is back from COVID and shilling for ivermectin now.
Shilling.
So he's benefiting. He's getting money.
He's shilling. Well, here's the thing. I don't want to derail you, but implicit in shilling is that this guy's doing it for money.
Right.
Did we forget about the enormous deal that everybody said he was a sellout?
Yeah.
Depending on what you believe. For going to Spotify. He doesn't need a dime from anybody ever again. He's just fine. I'm fairly sure and willing to bet he's beyond the state of having to shill for anybody.
Yeah. And besides, ivermectin, a Merck drug, Merck the company that owned the patent, it's off patent, right? You can make about as much profit from ivermectin as you can aspirin. It's just not there, right? On the other hand,
I feel it important, real quick, to throw in a little asterisk there too. You said a Merck drug, but it's an FDA approved for human use Merck drug.
Right.
Very, very important. Also, Nobel Prize winning, I believe, for use in humans for treating river blindness. Just a little thing you might want to throw in there when we're talking about deworming horses. Sorry, go ahead.
It has an incredibly safe track record over the course of time. When properly dosed and all the rest of it. And we'll get to that in a second. But that's that's what's particularly disgusting about this horse dewormer rhetoric, right? So that's the headline that you'll see. Oh, people are trying to treat COVID-19 with horse dewormer. And yes, while it is used in equestrian, veterinarian shit, it's also used effectively in humans. Now, by the way, this wouldn't be the first time in history that we've taken a medication that's used for something else and use it off-label to treat something that it wasn't originally intended to treat.
Physicians have an approved list of off-label medications that are safe for human consumption that they can use almost interchangeably for these types of situations.
Right.
Guess what's on that list? Ivermectin.
Yeah.
At least it was. I can't say right now. But it was. And there's a reason, like you said, I might have said it too, that it won a Nobel Prize for treating people in Africa for river blindness. Human people.
The thing that's kind of annoying too is I want to make a bet. I want to make a bold claim that may or may not come true. I just have a feeling. So the purported mechanism by which ivermectin is an effective treatment, both by prophylaxis and in taking it when you've already contracted COVID-19, is that it is supposed to deny the virus's ability to replicate. This is why whenever you hear about this, it needs to be taken early on. Right? If you've already got COVID and it's running amok and you're on a ventilator, you could probably use ivermectin at this point, but it's less effective at that point because, again, the purported mechanism is to deny the virus's ability to replicate. So that's the way that it's been shown to work in vitro, meaning, a petri dish, right? They've got a petri dish with some human cells in it, put some COVID-19 in there, douse it in ivermectin, and then you find that it's not replicating, right? And if it can't replicate, it's going to be dead eventually, right?
Eventually.
Now, interestingly enough, I have an article here. Pfizer initiates phase 1 study of novel oral antiviral therapeutic agents against SARS-CoV-2, and it is also an inhibitor of replication. So it makes me wonder, perhaps, if they're just going to change a molecule here or there and literally use ivermectin, but not call it ivermectin. Then they can repurpose,
Private
rebrand,
label.
patent the drug, and then now you're taking fucking horse dewormer. Really.
So Justin, what to Chris's point, a patent and a private label, you know what that equals? That equals the thing that you asked us for the definition of. MONEY. That's what that thing is, buddy. It is money. That's what it equals. There's no money in generic cures, right?
No.
Generic medicine in general. We don't have to take this specific example, but we can look at modern medicine, at least in the Western consideration as a whole, that money is in treatment, not in cures, right?
Yeah.
Insurance. Right? You pay for it over and over and over and over, monthly, yearly, whatever it is, until you need it. Oh, we're going to drop you. You put in a claim. Well, wasn't that the whole reason I had insurance, right?
The idea is you're betting against the insurance company that something bad isn't going to happen
Absolutely.
to you. And
it's like, all right, well, guess what? You win.
Yeah.
Well, do I really win?
Here's your prize. Yeah.
It's a difficult thing to really get around. Now, in the interest of being fair, right? This is not to counter any of the points that you made, but I think it's fair to note, just for everybody that is listening or will listen in the future, obviously, first and foremost, we are dudes talking into a microphone on our Buddies Gaming podcast. Please consult a physician, okay? No medical advice. Secondly, Joe Rogan, by his own admission, in his podcast with Tom Segura, talks about the cocktail that he took.
Right.
It wasn't just ivermectin.
Right.
Everything in the media was pointed at that, but he actually took the remdesivir, which is the...
I don't know if he took that, but I know
sorry,
he took
the
prednisone.
Prednisone, which is a steroid.
Right.
And then he took the Regeneron therapy. That's what it was. He took the Regeneron
NAD
therapy, which is the attenuated... what do you call them?
Oh, the monoclonal antibodies? Is that
Antibodies,
okay.
the
Yeah.
attenuated monoclonal antibodies, as well as high dose vitamin drips over a day or two period to get him to where he was.
Yeah.
So to say definitively it was that
wouldn't
fixed
say.
him,
Yeah.
and we all know that's not what we're saying. That's not what anybody's saying.
And the dude's healthy as fuck
The
already.
dude is healthy. That's the most important thing. I think it's key to acknowledge that at least there is a link to possibly having people get better. And rather than using politics to say, nope, put that in that pile, we're not going to research it further, let's give people, if we really care about life, right, let's give people a fighting chance to survive, that maybe the vaccine isn't the best option for them, right?
Right. Well, and the great irony is that, you know, like a lot of these people you see on the internet, and of course, you know, right, it's the internet, but like they wanted him to be sicker than he was. They wanted him to get sicker to that point. If you look this up, look it up. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. Go to CNN and their coverage of Joe Rogan when he made his Instagram post about the fact that he got COVID and what they were doing and everything. The thing that the match that set this whole fire on. He looks pretty shitty. Okay, but if you go to Instagram, right, and look at the same video, he looks just fine. They put a goddamn filter on it to make him look more ghoulish.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It is so clear to me, the bias, and I'm sure it is for many of you as well, but the problem is I don't get it. I really don't understand. If the vaccine is everything it's cracked up to be, why not let it stand on its own merit? Why lie to us about the masks when this shit started? Why go in front of Congress and lie to them and perjure yourself about the fact that you were funding gain-of-function research? Now that's been fucking proven too. Why lie or why misinform or say oops on any number of the things that the medical industrial complex has been over the years? I mean, look at the fucking food pyramid. Are you kidding me? These
Did
people have been
anybody get
wrong.
their 6 to 11 servings of grains today?
Yeah, it's insane. They've been wrong so many times, and you know it's never incumbent upon them to apologize in hindsight about, hey, you know, we were wrong. Now, it's science is settled, and it's a religion. It is literally a religion now. So you can point to science and say, this is what it is. Yeah. That's because that's what it is today. But tomorrow, you know, on second thought, turns out it was this, not that.
Pluto was a planet, wasn't a planet, was
Right.
a planet, wasn't a planet, right?
So yeah, I mean, science is as good as it can get, maybe, but it's not absent human, political, and social influence.
And it's
because
constantly
run by
being
humans.
refined.
Right.
Right? Like,
Of course.
science is, if science was done, if science was settled, we wouldn't need scientists anymore, right? They're constantly working and striving
Right.
towards new things. But I think, and kind of running back to a couple of the things, Justin, you mentioned in the comments here, buddy, especially with the CNN comment, I think that's universal. CNN has been a lie to the people source. I think that it's fair. However, I also think it's fair to point that finger a lot of places. In this particular example, you get a lot of reinforcement in that. And if you guys listen to that podcast that Rogan just released with Segura, he actually mentioned maybe even thinking about suing CNN because they almost, to the point of deliberately misrepresented what was happening in this specific situation, right?
Right.
They know he went to a doctor and got a prescription and went to a pharmacy to get that prescription filled. They know he wasn't one of the people, which it is happening, by the way. It has happened.
Yes.
People are going to feed and livestock stores and taking stuff off a shelf and treating themselves with it. They're taking that outlier example and making it the norm. They're treating it as if that's what everybody's doing, and it's not the case. And in that, we kind of get to see where the misrepresentation comes in, right? And that kind of allows us to come back to the broader picture of what we wanted to talk about this evening, rather than just this specific example, because I'm sure you guys in the chat probably hear it all the time, right? COVID, COVID, COVID. Here comes Girldad.
Sorry.
We all hear it all the time. We're used to it. But more so represented within the COVID, we could probably branch out even further and talk about the way things are, in this perfect example with CNN, misrepresented, right? Here you have a very affluent guy who is fitness and health oriented, right? First and foremost, he's that guy.
Yeah.
That's all he talks about. I hunt, I eat this, I do that. I'm the guy, I care about my body. I'm 50-something years old. I'm jacked up. Look at me, right? Like, I comment on fighting. Like, this is what it is.
Absolute unit.
A unit, right? I'm the guy. I'm one of those. I'm one of the manly men, whatever you want to call it. And at the same time, rather than say, hey, this guy's guy, whoever he is, this person who's preaching health through all of this, right, has taken these steps and gotten better in a very short amount of time comparatively to other people. The misrepresentation that the media has gotten really used to making commonplace instead puts in big headlines, Joe Rogan touts horse dewormer, right? Famous comedian says horse dewormer saved him. Nobody said any of that stuff, right?
No.
But they instantly frame the story in such a context that just by reading it, you already have some type of preconceived notion of what's going on. You don't even have to finish the subject matter, right? So when you look at the broader picture of this stuff and you start seeing things like social media, right? People get a filtered version of their news.
Yeah.
I can easily click to unfollow things that I don't like seeing, right? Eventually, after I do that so often, the algorithm starts picking up that same thing. And next thing you know, my newsfeed is just full of stuff that I like seeing. Does that mean that that stuff is more or less true? Not necessarily. But what it does mean is that I'm never getting any exposure to the other side of things, to another perspective, to see things from the other side of the aisle in this example, right? So it almost creates what we've all heard it before, the echo chamber, right? Yeah. That wall of audible reinforcement that's not going to get us anywhere, but constantly tells us the detrimental thing that's got us running our head into the wall. There's a lot to be said with how social media as a whole aids in that misrepresentation. You know what I mean? Whether it be a CNN post or a post from someone like Girldad talking about his perfect score or a headshot he got, when we all know it was a clip from the previous week. We know he didn't head shoot anybody. Look at him. He's barely been in the chair. He doesn't know what's going on.
I am a little lost. I'm a little lost on this conversation.
Baby.
But yes, I am hacking.
He's hacking. No. But there's a lot to be said with that, right? And when you add into that the fact that people were in their house for a long period of time, I know you're just jumping in.
Yeah, I know.
But
I'll get there.
People are all locked in their house for one period of time, and they're getting one stream of news or information, we'll call it, right? That's just the shit that they agree with, not any other perspective. What do you think happens? Walls start coming up around their beliefs, right? And it starts getting reinforced, and those walls get thicker and thicker.
Wait, did you
just
say wall?
Okay, wait, he did just
build
say wall.
wall.
And walls obviously, then walls must work because people build walls all the time. But so I'm jumping in, and actually I kind of get where this is going right now. And people are consuming that content because, like you say, that's what they agree with. They're not interested in the other point of view. They're not interested in having an intelligent conversation about the realities of it and being objectionable in that conversation. They're emotional, and it's an emotional conversation, and it always turns very emotionally negative. Absolutely. Really quickly, and in conversation when you're in debate with somebody, right? If you just state your hardline facts that they already disagree with, you're never going to change that person's mind, because they're already hardline facts that they completely and utterly disagree with, and that would so. If you really want to have a debate that's constructive, where you can maybe bring somebody's viewpoint around, you need to find something that is truthful about what they're saying, and then explain something that's truthful about what you're saying, so that you can find common ground somewhere, rooted in agreement. Whether or not you fully agree on everything that both of your viewpoints are, you can find some common ground to say, you know what, okay, you're right. This is something that's very concerning to a very large demographic of the nation. But why does the information that's put out that they consume lead them in that direction?
I've seen this happen, and I've almost been convinced on my end by somebody on YouTube. His name's Z-Dog, I believe. He's a physician, and he's got some hot takes on stuff. So I try to bounce around and watch his stuff as well. Now he's pro-vax, and what he says basically is something to the effect of, listen, if you're hesitant in believing the pharmaceutical companies at their word or at face value, you're not wrong. Like, that's probably a pretty healthy perspective to have. However, the vaccine's still safe, and I think you should take it. And when I hear that, I'm like, okay, that's a pretty nuanced perspective, and I'm simplifying it, right? But he's, at least to your point, acknowledging that your point of view is not wrong, and indeed may very well be right. But nevertheless, the data is the data, and this thing works because of this reason.
I'd like to really kind of jump in and marry parts of what you said with what you said in my own kind of little way. But in communication, right? In bridging that gap and finding that mutual understanding with another person to hopefully not necessarily convince them, but literally, like you said, meet in a place of understanding to better just get where they're coming from. There tends to be a habit of wanting to push for right. And I made a post from the Aetherial page the other day about this. If any of you guys don't follow, it's Aetherial.llc on Facebook. That conversation or discourse as a whole, idea exchanges, would be significantly benefited if we approach them from a perspective of finding that common ground and truth in the exchange of ideas from an earnest place versus rightness. The want or the desire to be right in any situation comes more than likely from a place of ego, right? I want to assert myself over you. I want to be right. It's less about what we're actually talking about and more about I want to be right over you, right? I don't care what your opinion is, whether you like vaccines, you're against vaccines, you're against one specific vaccine, or you're against all. It doesn't matter. I just want to be right. Yeah. And to that point, those are when you start seeing people lose logic, right? Go to name calling. Eyes start bugging out of their head. They start sweating and, you're this, that, and the next thing. And logic goes out the window, right? It's because emotions get involved. Because that monster of wanting to be right starts creeping out and jumping out over the back of our heads and taking control of the wheel. And then conversation and communication, which is the most important thing, right? Communication, understanding each other, completely out the window. Now it's a battle of who's going to be right. And we get into the proverbial pissing match and screaming at each other and fisticuffs and whatever the hell happens. And pointing fingers and putting each other into camps on social media and people not being able to post stuff because they're banned and people hating each other and flags in yards and all kinds of nonsense, right?
One of the problems with, like, nowadays, when we were talking about the subject matter for this episode was, like, finding truth in the age of information. And so we have an unprecedented access to amount of information that nobody in the history of humanity has ever had. Like, you can literally go on the internet and learn how to be a doctor, pretty much. Like, I mean, you have to,
the information humanity has ever had access to.
It's there. But the problem is you have to, yeah, I know. You have, excuse me, you have to, as an individual person, you have to outsource your ability to learn to other people. You have to defer to experts in their own fields in order to get certain information and know what the truth is. The problem is that depending on the source, they could very well be wrong, you know, and but you don't have the ability as an individual when you outsource that information to discern what is real and what is not, because you don't fundamentally understand the actual subject matter that you're looking at. You're not a doctor, you're not a biologist, you're not, you know, an expert in XYZ field. That's the problem.
No,
please let it out. You like held big time there.
So
let it rip.
It's 2021, chat. ladies and gentlemen, whatever you call yourself, we have officially reached the point that if you don't understand that the access to information or the inability to access information was not the measure of intelligence of the human race. It doesn't matter how much access to information the human race has. We still make the same dumb mistakes
Right.
and do the same dumb shit
course, yeah.
over and over and over and over and over again. No matter how many times it's written down and no matter how many times it happens, we continually do the same thing over and over again. The definition of insanity.
Yeah.
And so having unprecedented access to information does not equal intelligence in the everyday person.
In fact,
a person can be smart.
Sure.
People
It's actually-
are dumb.
People as a whole are idiots.
Men in black.
But
It's actually going backwards.
I think it can serve in twofold. It levels the playing field where before it may not, the possibility of leveling in such a way may not have existed.
Yeah.
Okay? But at the same time, there are numerous studies out there that show the previous, 3 to 4 generations, as they're coming out and becoming adults and going into adulthood, less and less are they more cognitively engaged in critical thinking skills. So the more we defer our thinking to these, the less we have the ability to discern information and think on our own, because we're relying on an external processing unit, right? If I don't run the system, the gears start locking up.
And even to the extent that you can do that, it's hard though, right? Because again, if you don't have the depth of knowledge to be able to differentiate what's true from false, because you don't understand what's actually happening or some of the pitfalls in the back end that you haven't considered because you don't fully understand the content, then even if you do have the ability to critically think, I think really what we're seeing like in the media now, where there's this division and this kind of like tribal warfare about no vaccines, no ivermectin, whatever the case is, right, is because there's this intuition. There's this intuition that says, you know what, those guys over there, I don't trust them. Why? I don't know, man. I'm just saying.
Something.
You know, and I know it sounds stupid, and it could very well be stupid, but they've, again, as I said earlier, they've been wrong so many times before. Why should I trust them this time? And there's these perverse incentives, money, power, etc., that taints things. And I just want to draw a quick comparison. So, like in the Renaissance, right, where we were really getting into science as a race, before that, the church pretty much had a monopoly on information, right?
Right.
And to the extent that they would, kill you if you deviated from that.
Heretic.
Yeah, heretic.
I would
exactly.
say, I wouldn't just say the church though. I would say let's say religion and as a whole.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's the same. Yeah.
And let's and I think I want to.
The church is just the institution.
A church, a mosque, a temple, all different institutions, but. One commonality is all monotheistic religions. All believe in one God. All believe in the same God. That the same story happened in 3 different ways.
Right.
Depending on who you say that to, they might have very differing opinions. I don't necessarily disagree with it. I'm just saying, depending on who you say that to, they might get real pissy defending it.
No, let me break it down. Then you have a base. You have a base of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Those are the 3 monotheistic religions that follow one God. That's it. They all happen around the same time. They all fight each other over whose story is right.
Christianity is quite a bit after Islam.
It's all rooted out of control, out of government. That's how they control people, through fear of what a god or.
But again, that's a two-edged sword, right? Because if you look at, and this might ruffle a feather or two, but look at our Constitution, our Bill of Rights. Those are inalienable rights that are gifted by whom?
God. Yeah.
God. So our rights that we defend so hard as Americans are founded underneath a monotheistic.
Yeah, but that's what our
system
belief,
in general, right?
The Christianity belief in God from that, and we try and share it with everybody, you know, under
Sure.
one God. But it's still you're basing that on just the Christianity side of it.
Well, monotheism as a whole.
But
As a whole, there's aspects of that go everywhere. This is applicable to us because of where we live.
Yeah.
If we lived elsewhere, then it would be other religion X, Y, or Z, right? But I'm using that as an example just because of where we live, not to disprove it, but those inalienable rights that we count as a basic human right is because of that belief system of that hierarchy of value that, like, I put value in you as a human being, regardless of who we're praying to, right? That comes from the system of religion.
I think
to a certain extent.
I think the idea behind that was to detach government's power from their ability to take those rights away, because if they weren't given by government, they cannot be therefore taken.
100%.
So
I think
that was where the writing in that was.
Functionally
but at the same
wise,
time,
absolutely.
At the same time, the other religions write the exact opposite thing to take the rights away, and ours did too.
Yeah.
In a lot of points in time.
100%.
To take the rights away from people.
Every time we've had our rights infringed upon, it's been for a good reason.
It's
never because you guys are misusing it or you guys are abusing it. It's to help us out. It's for a good reason.
Very true.
Right? It's always for a good reason.
Oh, I think we got a little off topic. Wait, but not too far. So
that's where the conversation's going.
It is, but I want to go back to something I was thinking about the conversation earlier. In that.
Chris does look spiffy. You're right. He's a handsome guy.
Chris does look very spiffy today. How many articles or how many different sources do you need in order for something to be considered factual, like the truth?
That's a funny question, right?
There aren't enough.
But there's I would think the commonality would say two is what a lot of people would say. You need two good sources saying the same thing.
But broader question: who's to say we agree on what truth is?
Again.
But I'm just asking philosophically, right? Who's to say you and I have the same definition of truth? I could show you 30 articles arguing my point, and you could have 31 arguing the opposite. Right?
Subjective, very subjective.
So, but that's where it becomes real sticky. Is truth subjective or is truth absolute?
It's a very annoying question,
isn't it?
It is. Truth is subjective. I think experiments are more rooted in fact. Once you figure out, like, you know, you make a hypothesis, you test that hypothesis, and you either go back to the drawing board, or you come up with a thesis.
So here's a fun...
I believe, if I'm not mistaken in that order.
You're good. Here's a fun thought experiment that I heard from a philosopher in regards to the scientific method.
Okay.
If you flip a coin,
yep,
you can pretty much guarantee it's either going to land heads or tails, right?
Yeah.
We would consider that a fact, scientifically, yes?
Yes.
If I flip a coin,
no matter what,
it's going to land heads or tails.
Well, it could land on side.
There's a 1 in a quadrillion.
So this guy sees the experiment.
So let
me finish real quick. So the potential, right? We would all sit here casually and agree that that's the truth.
Right. Yeah.
It's going to be heads or tails. But the potential of it landing on its side perfectly exists. Even though it might not ever effing happen, the potential exists, right?
100%.
So to say that truth is concrete in the fact that when I flip this coin, it's going to land heads or tails, and consider that a universal truth that we all understand, just the potential of that outcome not happening, does that make that truth untrue?
So is that the Jurassic Park chaos theory?
Pretty much.
Well, I guess
pretty much.
I know that's what I was that's the truth.
But does it make it not true anymore? Well, just the fact that potential exists.
Well, I guess the message then would be truth is built upon agreement.
Truth is built upon history.
I think multiple histories of agreement.
We take science, prime example, and we take these recorded experiments, and from that data, we surmise X, Y, or Z, right?
Yeah.
But what if the next time we run the experiment, what if that motherfucker lands on its side? Does that make all the information we collected previously untrue?
No, just flawed.
But now truth has a wiggle in it, right?
Yeah. Right.
What went from concrete becomes, oh shit. That's where it starts getting wonky.
What if you had a double-headed coin or a double-tails coin?
Double-tails coin.
Or like you said, it landed on the edge.
Or what if it was a cube?
That was a die.
What if it
That
was
would be called a die.
Not if it's got faces on it.
It'd still be a die. I don't know. I think it would still be a die.
What if it's all presidents?
It's a cube. I mean, if you roll it, so a cube, is it a die if you roll it? If you roll
Now
a
it's a
cube,
ball.
does that make it a dice?
Now we're getting real deep in the rabbit hole. But I think it's an important thing to think about. When we talk about relative truth, is it true to you? Is it true to the whole, right? You mentioned before, people are smart. Or a person is smart. People can be dumb or mean or murderous or whatever, right? So is truth the same thing as truth? Is something that's true to me the same thing that's true? It gets real wicked.
It's very
It gets sticky. It gets sticky.
Murky.
We're building systems in order to find the most accurate truth that we can, like the scientific method. You know, it's not perfect, of course, but it's the best thing we've got, just like the justice system. The justice system lets rapists and murderers out sometimes. That's terrible. However, the idea is, you know, you let 100 guilty people go so you don't get one innocent person. So imperfect systems in search of perfection, and through that finding what we think is truth. But more often than not, what we find is wrong because it's an ongoing process, right? So that's why certain subset of people have this idea that, you know what, I don't care what they say about the vaccine, I'm not going to take it. Or they hear something like ivermectin, they're like, aha, there it is. That's the thing that's going to upset the balance that they're trying to put forth.
Yeah.
And they're addicted to that idea. I know that because that's how I feel. Mm-hmm. I want that shit to be true so that I can go like this to all those other people.
Yeah.
Right?
Be right.
Yes. You know. So
I gotta say this real quick. Sake, I'll send you one, and I'll have to send you one. So we'll figure that out.
No problem. We'll get you hooked up, Scott.
We'll get you hooked up, Sake.
The point I was making about the church, though, so religion, right? So I'm going to be more specific. So religion previously had a monopoly on truth and would actively squash other people finding what the real truth was.
I think it's more fair to say that they
real truth or their truth, because again, we're back to subjective.
I think it's
truth.
more fair to say that they had a monopoly on violence. Religion, essentially, at that time was government.
Well, and if you
had a monopoly on violence.
If you have a monopoly on violence,
so you get
then
to
have everything else.
decide what's true.
Yeah. I mean,
exactly. Not that they had a monopoly on truth.
But what's fundamentally different about our society today? Because as far as I can tell, government is the new.
Nothing.
Government and science are the new church.
What?
Government, science, Hollywood. Corporate America.
What's the easiest and most consistent way to govern a group of people?
Through fear.
Fear and mutual hatred.
Just fear.
Fear. Period.
And division.
If I look at you and I'm worried about you effing me over, I'm not worried about the guy on top of me peeing on my head.
Which he's doing on purpose.
Fear and hatred.
While you're doing it.
That's it. Period.
And it works really well.
Period.
And it's worked for centuries and centuries.
I wonder. Actually, that's a great segue. But Justin, you mentioned earlier about the stories about the 13 that were lost to us, not that we lost, that were lost to us in Afghanistan. And again, thoughts and prayers and everything we can muster up to their families. Why all that disappeared? I think it's case in point for what we're talking about right here. It's the misdirection, right? It's the bait and switch. It's the get your eyes over here and pull the rug over here, right? Like we're talking about with intent of putting a wedge between people. How many times did you guys see the George Floyd video? Everybody. How many times did you guys see it? 150 billion times. Every outlet, every social feed, everything. Everywhere,
all
ad nauseum, every angle, zoomed in, zoomed out, all the audio, everything. It was readily available, right?
Well,
Justin,
certain point.
Certain point. The points that they wanted put across were readily available, right? Justin, to what you said, where's all the information? Where's the questions about what's happening in Afghanistan? Where's the information about Ghislaine Maxwell? Did anybody forget about this bitch?
Yeah, but we went.
But no, I mean, I'm talking in general. I'm using specific examples, but the overarching point is you're given this. This is what's happening. We're just gonna put shit in your face and give you what we want,
which is great.
Switch, distract.
We've circled back around to the media.
Misrepresentation, baby.
Overall, and again, it's you have we have created two different sides division in order to pull power back and forth. And I mean, you can look at flowcharts of the United States government from George Washington. They have all the financials and everything on flowcharts that show you we've gone up and down and Republican and Democrat and Republican and Democrat and Republican and Democrat. It's a never-ending freaking cycle because
the universe operates in cycles, man.
Good times create weak men. Hard times create strong men, and it's a cycle that circles back and forth. And it doesn't matter men or women. It just hard times create weak people or strong people, and weak times create weak whatever. However I was supposed to say that, I messed it up. But that's really how I feel about it.
I believe it's Thucydides' trap is what you're attempting to quote. Yep.
Thucydides' trap. So we do it to ourselves, and then somebody comes in, slick talker, and they convince us of another thing. And
I've got all the right answers.
We're gonna
give me some money. I promise I'll fix it all.
We gotta get rid of money in politics.
Well,
somehow.
I mean,
we got to get rid of the amount.
That's super broad. At the same time, I
is,
definitely agree with that. I think
there's just so much money.
I mean, there's a lot to be said there, but things like term limits, things like contributions outside of your district are kind of gross.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't be able to contribute to a campaign for a regional seat in fucking West California. It's got nothing to do with me.
No.
It should be to the citizens of that
immediate area.
Whoever they're voting for, whoever their constituency is, that should be who's voting
or state.
For
whatever.
I mean, there's a lot to be said in terms of specific reform, but I think you guys hit it right on the head, man. The ugly part about what we're discussing, chat, is that this misrepresentation can come in all kinds of different forms, whether it's the news, media, the stuff that we're seeing on social. You barely even got to talk about it, but we had mentioned before, you were talking about, online stuff, like all the different traps you can fall into with that.
Yeah, I didn't get to really talk about a lot of digital, your digital footprints and the waves that are left from the time you were on MySpace.
Your top 13 still out there, folks.
The kids nowadays on Facebook are like, why can't I have music on my main page when they come in? It's like you obviously weren't alive for MySpace.
That was already a thing.
I mean, and then we talk about critical thinking and stuff, and I was one of the earliest generations to adopt computers in the classroom. And Oregon Trail. I mean,
you've chuck your wagon and float it, baby.
critical thinking, and if it didn't matter if you made a wrong decision right then. That decision that you made will affect you, 150, 200 miles or 1,000 miles down the line. And then you have the opportunity to replay that over and over. I mean, that's a lot of the whole gaming thing is you have the opportunity to replay these things, especially in a lot of the games that are not just repetitive. That's why a lot of people like the Warzone thing. It's kind of repetitive because they haven't changed anything in so long. But
different experience each time.
But as far as like being able to go through some of the story games, the one-player story games that they have out, and each decision that you make leads you down a different path, and each decision that you make down that different path can lead you down to a different path.
Choose your own adventure.
And then you can restart the whole thing over and take different paths, and it all leads to different endings, and you may save this person, that person may die. Like, it could be any of a million different outcomes, not a million, but let's say like 10, 15, 20, even maybe 30 different outcomes in a game that's really, really in depth, and that makes it interesting to play. And that's that critical thinking of what decision you make now is going to affect you 90 days, 120 days down the line.
Human equity, man. You got to invest in it. I want to get to these couple comments real quick. Back up to Scott. My only wish is that people can stop seeing Democrat, Republican, black, and white. Take race and politics out of it and be American and love one another. And then Justin replied right after that, It will always be a battle no matter what. There will never be change. I'd really like to pop in real quick, and I want to throw that to you too, because that's there's a lot going on in those two statements. Scott, I agree partially, and here's why. I think it's important for people to find more of themselves in their sense of biological identity than their external identity, meaning I don't want to attach who I believe I am to my job, right? Or my role currently today. If I'm a plumber today, does that mean if I get fired tomorrow that I'm no longer a person? No, I'm still me. There's still something left over. But with that being said, the divisive lines that it creates, I think, need to be dissolved 100%. And there needs to be more of that mutual understanding like you were talking about. And to what Justin said, I love you, brother. And I hope that you're misinformed on that one. And here's why. There's evidence to be shown that we're kind of writing our own reality as we go. If I approach everything with that same mentality, then it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. If I convince these two of the same thing, and we all went out into the world thinking there will never be any kind of difference or change, guess what? We're going to be right. So all we can do is approach this stuff from an intelligent, honest, virtuous perspective and not talk to people with the intent of converting them, but like you said, meeting them in a place of understanding and at least trying to get a better idea of where they're coming from and let the process be what it is.
Change starts from within. Change is not an external factor. The outside world will not change your internal mind. It's not something that generally happens other than maybe people that are taking acid. They go through a spiritual experience and maybe that changes the way they see something. But which is why that's actually been a psychological experiment, to see if that changes the way people think over time through microdosing and things like that. I think, again, that a person is smart and people as a whole are dumb and easily led into a direction by negativity a lot easier than they are led in the same direction by positivity. The ones of us that circle around and grab that positivity up and bring it in close, and we find the people that help us grow as individuals, and that allows us to help others. Then we really create that community that we also so greatly wish to change. The change is within all of us. It's not we have to change in order for the world to change. I think it's that simple for me.
The problem, so I like where you're going. The problem with our structure currently is, humanity, even if you were to take us from where we're at, wipe our brains and put us on a different planet, our nature is that we need to be governed, right? In order to have a society that has structure and purpose and all the rest of it. Now, I hope that we can move beyond that, and I think when we do move beyond that and act a little bit more autonomously, then we can actually be positive and do all of these other things.
I think scale is the problem there, though.
Well, scale, yeah, absolutely. But the thing is like the reason that the arguments nowadays are so divisive and people are willing to die for them, and they have in the past and they will in the future, is because the debate really, whether take this, that, or the other, argument, the debate really is who has power over one another, who can point the figurative gun of the government at the other person and make them do what they want. And people don't like that shit, Republicans don't like that shit. Democrats don't like that shit. And when we're voting people into power, we're saying, I'm going to put that guy up there, and he's going to do these things and make you do what I want, or coerce you into doing what I want. Everybody, just for an example, the vaccine thing, right? A lot of people don't want to take it, but they're either going to force you, and they're not going to come door to door and do it. That's an untenable situation, but they'll coerce you into doing it by saying you can't be part of polite society if you don't. You can't work, you can't go to the grocery store, all the rest of it. And so people are pushing back against that stuff constantly, and that's why Republicans look at Democrats like they're evil. Democrats look at Republicans like they're evil. And we're constantly fighting that battle, and until we can overcome that somehow, the positivity that we like to think of isn't going to have enough of an effect to pull that apart, I don't think.
It's two truths, right? I mean...
Two different realities. And it's just as true to both sides. That's the problem. It's unyielding because to people on one side, that truth is true to them. You know what I mean? There's something I've referenced a million times before. Even think about the worst shit that's ever happened in the history of the planet. Genocide, Hitler, Stalin, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Even the worst, most disgusting, detestable motherfuckers ever in the history of shit ever.
Yeah.
Guess what? When they did what they did, they thought they were acting in the right.
Right.
Period. They thought they were doing the right thing. Whether or not you agree with it is irrelevant.
And down to the moral level. They thought
they were doing the right thing for the right reasons.
Morally, they felt
for the right
morally
reasons. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it.
I believe you.
Whether or not you agree with it's irrelevant. But that's what it is. People don't act unless they're motivated to, right?
Yeah, you can justify literally anything.
Yeah.
So that's where it gets scary. The justification, right?
Yep.
And again, it goes to what we were talking about with the overarching topic of the misrepresentation. You could take any number of examples and make any argument you want.
Well, and then it's back to how many congruent sources do you need for something to really convince everybody?
Impossible.
I'm just saying, like...
No, it's rhetorically.
20,
what do you do?
20, 30,
do you
40,
do?
50, 100,000...
Knowing that when you bring those to me, I can find
how many
20
people,
of my own that say opposite, right?
Well, you can buy whatever you want, yeah.
John.news
that's
or
why money and politics
or
can buy whatever it
Republic.biz
wants.
or Freedom.mag.
You
You can find this shit anywhere.
The example that's going to prove that money can buy anything is going to be the California recall.
Well,
Not even talking about politics, but you're talking about 4 times the amount of money. So I'm just saying, if enough people voted to have that rerun and throw a chance at it, and you're talking about not putting like we put salary caps on professional athletes or professional sports, professional whatever, so that it's a more even playing field.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about a discrepancy in 4 times the amount of ability to give people money.
Oh, it's
It's not like that money goes to Gavin Newsom.
No, it's absurd.
It's so. Are we buying? We're buying.
The residents of California are doing a lot of the purchasing, unfortunately, for them. That's I think which is why they're leaving. But if you look at it, California as a state, population-wise, has more people than Canada.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's not
The whole country. So think about what that means for the economy in the United States.
Right.
We are deeply, deeply invested and interested in what happens in California economically. Don't think that has nothing to do with the governor. I'll leave it at that. Like you said earlier, I think it was Justin. Follow the money.
Follow the money.
Follow the money.
Follow the money.
Speaking of California, how the fuck is Larry Elder the black face of white supremacy?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a statement I still don't. Again, truth.
What?
Truth and I truly believe misrepresentation of information.
So maybe next week we do Ask a Black Guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to be said in terms of how blatantly disrespectful and racist a lot of CRT theory and teachings are.
Yeah.
In that they inherently segregate and isolate and categorize and label people.
It removes your agency as a human.
So to be able to, as a broadcast media organization, say, you, black guy, you are the black face of white supremacy, and there not be an uproar is disgusting to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely disgusting. Really I don't care who said it. I don't care who they're pointing to. And to be fair, chat, if they said the same shit, you are the black face, or you're the white face of black supremacy, whatever the fuck it is, or you're the black face of the Democrat. Like, How about him a fucking person first, and we'll go from there.
Well, they don't like his politics,
Of course they don't like his politics, so they put him in a box and they slap a label on him. Well, you're not really black. It's like the guy that's in office right now. You know what he said? Well, if you don't vote for me, corn pop, you ain't black.
What?
Yeah,
If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And that got a pass. That shit got a pass.
Fell on.
It got a pass.
Fell on.
I'm gonna get
deaf
on my soapbox with that guy. But it got a pass.
Yeah.
And they're going around calling other people racist.
Because they hated the other guy so much.
So I think that this is a very good time to wind this one down.
Oh, next week's gonna get fucking.
Next
week's got the lit.
Uncontextually challenged, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're gonna have Ask Jay anything. I don't know about you, but
AJA. As long as we keep it respectful, I got you guys 100%. I will answer anything as long as it's not blatantly disrespectful. Mostly looking at this piece of shit. Real quick, Scott, I feel you 100%, brother. I love you. Thank you for participating most of the chat tonight. If I have the mindset that change isn't possible, nothing will ever change. If I have the mindset that change is possible, there's always a chance that I can make that change.
And that's just,
I mean, it's true, because once you cascade, that it will be true because we will have made it true. But there's a barrier.
Of course,
some roadblocks.
all right, so I'll give chat a and I've played this song on my live channel before. It's long since been deleted by Facebook, but go check out Iliani Wolfgang, or is it Liliani? I gotta type it out.
Oh boy.
Liliani Wolfgang, Change the World, featuring Fortunate Youth. And that song may resonate with you in a Wolfgram.
Well, while he's getting that info typed out in the chat, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks again, Jason, Freelow. Freelow, the band. You guys are awesome. Killed it. Absolutely killed it.
Yeah, it's great.
We're going to keep switching up content for you guys and hopefully keep you guessing. I think we might have tipped the bag a little bit too much for next week, but we'll keep coming up with different stuff to give you guys. We don't want to be stale. We don't want to be static. We're a variety of guys that have a variety of opinions, so we'd like to present as much of that to you as we can. For me, it's Aetherial.llc on Facebook, Aetherial_LLC on Instagram, and Aetherial.llc on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. I upload these podcasts to our YouTube as well as the Girldad stream, so check all that out on your Facebooks and your socials and your Insta Spaces and your Facegrams and all that stuff.
By the way, are you making these into a playlist on YouTube?
It is a separate playlist.
Cool.
If you go to the Aetherial page, you'll see my training videos, you'll see our promotional videos, and you will see our podcasts in separate playlists. So episodes 1, 2, and 3 are already up. Episode 4 will be up as soon as we get it all cleaned up and ready to go.
That promo video is pretty sick.
That promo video is sick. You might see some familiar faces in there.
Yeah.
Maybe a few.
Maybe 1 or 2. Shout out Coopal Creative. Love you, buddy. But the promo video is absolutely sick. And throw Girldad some love on the YouTubes as well. My man is looking at making the transition, so show him some love on there. Show him some love.
You guys, you never know. You may see this whole thing on YouTube at some point in time. But right now, Facebook is not bad, and I think we're going to continue here. But definitely going to be bringing some of my channel content over to YouTube at some point to tap into that market and see if we can't just gain some more stuff. You got to increase your market share.
Diversify, baby.
Diversify. So, chat, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I am James, Girldad Gaming.
Jay, Aetherial LLC.
Chris, Aetherial LLC.
And we will see you guys next Wednesday, evening, 7 p.m. EST.
Appreciate you.